During the North African campaign, a troop of soldiers returned after a long hike. They arrived in a little town called Casino, and the next day being Sunday, they went to church. After the prayer was read, the text was taken up, and those who had prayer books took them out. But there was one soldier who had neither Bible nor prayer book. All he had was a deck of cards, so he spread them out. His sergeant saw the cards, and he said, "Soldier, put away those cards." And after services, he took the soldier before the provost marshal. And the marshal asked, "Why is this man before me?" "For playing cards in church, sir," replied the sergeant. "And what do you got to say for yourself, son?" asked the marshal. "Much, sir," replied the soldier. "Well, I hope so," said the marshal. "Otherwise I shall punish you more severely than any man has ever been punished." And with that, the soldier began his story. "You see, sir, when I look at the ace, it reminds me that there is but one God. The deuce makes me think of the Bible and the two books in the Bible, the Old and the New Testament. When I look at the tray, I think of the three persons in God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. When I see the four, it reminds me of the four evangelists who preached God's gospel. There was Matthew, his brother Mark, Luke, and John. When I look at the five, it makes me think of the 5 wise virgins who trimmed their lamps and were saved. When I see the 6, I remember that in 6 days God created the heavens and the earth. And the 7 reminds me that God said, "Let this day be holy," and he rested. When I look at the 8, I think of the 8 righteous persons whom God saved when he once destroyed this earth. There was Noah, his wife, their 3 sons and their wives. And when I see the 9, I remember the lepers that Christ cleansed. There were 10 of them, but only 1 came back to thank him. When I see the 10, it reminds me of the 10 commandments that God gave down to Moses on tables of stone. When I look at the jack or knave, I'm reminded to avoid the devil and all his works. When I see the Queen, I think of our Blessed Lady and Holy Mother Mary. And when I look at the King, it reminds me one more time that there is still but one God. If I count the number of spots in a deck of cards, I find there are 365, the number of days in a year. There are 12 picture cards, the number of months in a year. And there are 52 cards, the number of weeks in a year. There are 4 suits, the number of seasons in a year. And there are 13 tricks, the number of weeks in a season. So you see, sir, not only does my deck of cards serve me as a prayer book, it also serves me as an almanac. And friends, this story is true. I know, 'cause I knew that soldier.